Denny Hamlin's nickname for me is the Weasel, Denny the Weasel Hamlin. I think it goes good. Weasel's a real sneaky, kind of sly, slick. Anyways, not my cup of tea, but hey, man, he won. He's a winner. What's going on, y'all? I'm Brandon Atlanta Man Bang, coming to you live right here, Coach's Corner, the center of the universe, Thunderbolt, Georgia. Another episode of Rubbin' and Grubbin'. Rubbin' is racing, grubbin' is tasting. I hope everybody's having a great Wednesday night, man. We got some good NASCAR news to go over that dropped this week. Recapping that Bristol race and looking forward to getting down there to Texas, man, to see get the round of 8 kicked off and started. But getting right into it, the word of the day, man. So if it's your first time tuning in, don't know how we like to do this game, basically what happens is Lawrence is going to throw a word up here. Every time I say that word, you're going to take a sip of your favorite adult beverage. I always like to say it's age appropriate as well. Doesn't matter if you're under the age of 21, it's Wednesday. You got a couple days left before school gets out, man. Get some Red Bull, sweet tea, Kool-Aid, get sugared up, stay up, play along, y'all. So last week's word of the day was Bristol, and seeing as how we were headed there, man, I'm sure you probably had a pretty good buzz if you played along. So this week's word of the day is going to be, I have no idea, but every time, take a sip, y'all. So getting into the NASCAR news, man, and again, thoughts and prayers go out to the Pollux family there. Longtime girlfriend of Martin Truex Jr., Sherry Pollux, lost her battle there with cancer and passed away this week. Thoughts and prayers go out to that family, man. I tell you, legacy's going to live on. Martin Truex Jr. and her started the foundation there, raising money for childhood awareness, childhood cancer and treatments and everything. So just some really sad news. But I tell you what, man, the good that she has done in her life is definitely going to carry on there well after. So big shout out on that. And again, thoughts and prayers and condolences out there to MTJ and the family. So, Denny Hamlin, man, conquered the last great Coliseum. Son of a bitch. Anyways, I mean, he did me pretty good. I'm not going to complain too bad. I had him in our game of skill up here, but, I like to call Denny Hamlin's nickname for me is the Weasel, Denny the Weasel Hamlin. I think it goes good. Weasel's a real sneaky, kind of sly, slick. Anyways, not my cup of tea, but, hey, man, he won. He's a winner. Locked it in there, man. I tell you what, made that next round of the playoffs as if there was probably going to be any question. I think he was good on points, but good run. And the biggest question out there, man, is could this be the 11th year? Could Denny Hamlin finally win a championship and kind of, shush all the haters out there, I guess. But we'll see what happens. But gonna be interesting here moving forward for sure. So some other big news, Spire Motorsports buying into that Charger there from Live Fast. The purchase price was pretty wild, $40 million, man. That's a good bit of money. But we talked about it a couple weeks on the show, and I'm telling you now, I think it's only going to continue to climb for a little bit. And then you got to kind of get into the point of if I don't buy now and I let it go a few more years, how many years will it take me to catch up to where everybody else is at? So, we'll see the move. Going to be interesting to see exactly who locks in into that seat, man. I tell you, there's some names floating around out there, and there are some guys out there with Cup experience looking for rides. But I tell you what, man, I feel like if they don't hire Carson Hocevar to get into that car, they're backing up. I think Hocevar is coming off the table pretty quick. I think Dale Jr. might have dropped the bug there that if he doesn't get a Cup ride, Hocevar might end up over at JRN full-time next year. And that wouldn't hurt my feelings at all. I love it. As we all know, that's kind of the Xfinity camp for Hendrick. Hey, Alex Bowman got a contract. These other guys got contracts, man. If you don't perform and do right, you might see Carson Hocevar moving on up into a Hendrick car here in the next 2 to 3 years. So we'll see what happens. But big news there, man. Got a charger and a sponsor off. Live Fast did say they plan on running a partial schedule next season, so that's good for them too. Still staying involved somewhat. So we'll see what goes on. I'll keep you updated on that, man. But hopefully Hocevar will have his butt in a seat next year in the Cup Series. Social media, man, got to give a big shout out there. Man, if you guys hadn't yet, please go out, like, share, follow all the social media, you guys. You can catch us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Most importantly, go check out that YouTube channel. Subscribe, Rubbin' and Grubbin'. You can check it out, man. We're still trying to give away this Harvick helmet before the end of the season. We got 7 weeks getting in there, man. We need some help, y'all. Go out, tell your grandma, your uncle, your granddaddy, make your kids YouTube accounts. I don't give a damn what you do, man. Let's just get to 400. Let's get this helmet going. We still got some other good stuff that I think we'll probably start the season off with next year. Maybe a little something during the off season, nothing too crazy. But we still got some other stuff out there, man. So as soon as this stuff goes, we start pulling out more stuff out of the bag of tricks, out of Lawrence's Santa bag he's got, man. So like I said, you guys make sure you check out that YouTube channel, subscribe. I always say it, the more eyes we get on what we do here on Rubbin' and Grubbin' in the show, hopefully the more people we can get aware of what we do charity-wise in our local community, whether it be at Coach's Corner or on Rubbin' and Grubbin' with that checkered flag for charity. So make sure you guys are staying tuned and subscribing to that. But follow us on all that social media, y'all. So last but not even nowhere near last but not least, but got to give a big shout out to a local boy here, Mr. Michael Carter, man. That was a pretty big little deal there. Winning 2023 Spec Miata Championship, man. Glad to see him do that. Man, love him. Had him up on the show a couple times. Coaches supports him, does everything they can for him. Great talent. I've said it for years, and I'll keep saying it. Truck Series team, Xfinity Series team, y'all need a road course driver, man. Give Michael Carter a call out there. He'll come up and get behind the wheel, man, and see what he can do. Very talented young race car driver, and always a blast, man. So good job, Michael. Glad to see that, brother. And keep putting in the hard work and having those good runs, brother. That's what it's all about, man. So a little more news. Matty D with Rackley Racing there lost a ride for those remaining races, which really hurt my feelings. I can't fathom that, but I mean, it is what it is. You know, Matty D's kind of been in and out of the sport the last few years. You know, I'm hoping somebody will give the man a chance, whether it be Xfinity or Truck Series. Somebody's got to see the talent out there. And yeah, he's not a young man. And, you know, he's had his chances and this and that. But, you know, at the end of the day, he's got experience. And I think that's something that you can't gain off young natural talent. At some point, you do have to have some experience there as well. So I think they did him dirty as hell. I will say that. I think they did him dirty as hell. But hopefully, Matty D will find another ride, at least partial, or maybe fill in a schedule with some Xfinity and Cup Series and Truck Series and make that world go around with some racing, man. Because I love him. Good personality for the sport. Very humble. Worked his way up and got that ride. So, you know, hopefully, man, we'll see Matty D back at the racetrack there on Saturday, Sunday, and Fridays, man. Really look forward to that. You know, there again, Daniel Hemrick returns to the Cup Series next year, which I'm really going to bite my tongue a little bit on that. Look, Daniel Hemrick had his chance in Cup Series and didn't do a damn thing. And I'm running out of swear dollars, and I ain't even been drinking tonight, y'all. Went back down to Xfinity, won that championship, which is great, pat on the back and everything there. But I don't see Colleague being more consistent or doing better with Daniel behind the wheel. And I'm not hating on Daniel. I'm not a fan or dislike him in any form of way. I just think that after you get to a certain point and you've had your time and you move back down and move back up at the age he's at, it's kind of about time. It's now or never. This is it. I mean, the writing's on the wall. So that's just my personal opinion about it. Who knows? A man might come in and next year Colleague might win 5 races. I have no idea. All I'm saying is it's just not maybe who I would have selected to see in that seat compared to a Justin Haley getting re-signed or even some younger guys out there you could work with and possibly pull over. So we'll see. You know, Chris Rice and everybody over there, they know what they're doing. They got their deal planned out, and I'm hoping the Dinger's going to stay. I know that. Hopefully that one stays full-time in the Cup Series, because without that, I think your Cup Series program falls apart a little bit. So we'll see what happens, but, you know, good luck to Daniel Hemrick, and we'll see what he can get done out there for sure. Got to give a big shout-out to little Gator Justin Allgaier out there as well, bringing it home for JRM in that Xfinity Series race there at Bristol. And that race was awesome too, man. That was an awesome Xfinity Series race. I watch them, you know, pretty much every week. If I might not watch the full thing, click it on, watch a good laugh, click it over to some football or something else. But I watched this one, man, and man, that was a good race. And Dale Jr., I tell you what, man, Dale Jr., God, man, that was awesome. You know, big congrats from us here on Rubbin' and Grubbin' to see him get back in the car at a place like Bristol and really get out front and lead laps and had one of the best cars, if not the best car, all night long. And to have something like that happen to him, man, that was just horrible. We actually had him on mine and Lawrence little Rubbin' and Grubbin' little bets that we do. The odds they gave me on Dale Jr. in JRM equipment at Bristol was just too good to say no to. Didn't quite hit, but boy, oh boy, I know if we would have, that would have been a nice little payday there. But, you know, and he had some interesting comments after that race about how much fun he had, and it makes him want to do it more, you know, having a good run. And, you know, I think he said on Dale Jr. Download, you know, how fun would it be to get some retired guys to come in and run in the Xfinity Series or run, you know, basically like an Xfinity Series car. I talked about it here, 2 years ago, Lawrence? Maybe last year we talked about it. filling in that schedule to give fans more racing while you're there, right? I mean, it's really the only sport that when you buy a ticket, you get all this outside of like tennis and golf. I will say that, all right? Tennis and golf, I feel like, but it's a day pass, right? Like NASCAR is like when you buy a ticket, yeah, you got to buy tickets for eat and race, but I'm saying people that are at the track, right? Like on the infield, you buy that, you pay that, you're there all weekend long, right? And I'm sure they have weekend ticket packages that start at whatever. At the end of the day, I'm saying how much more fun and how cool would it be for a fan, especially in my age demographic, and maybe even in some of Lawrence, seeing some of those guys if they wanted to. You give them a race car like an Xfinity car, and they run maybe 6 races or 5 races a year at select tracks. Mostly short tracks and maybe a mile and a half here and there, or something crazy. Something different. But retired drivers coming back to run those one-offs. The Tony Stewarts, the Jeff Gordons, the Dale Juniors, the whoever wants to do it. Dale Jarrett, Bobby Labonte, Kenny Schrader, Kenny Watt, whoever wants to do it. Carl Edwards. You get this like kind of retired. I think there's got to be criteria. Like you have to be retired. All this good stuff, and maybe a 10-car, 12-car field or whatever it may be, and you cut them loose on a Bristol, and you cut them loose on a Dover, and you cut them loose on these short Martinsville, and like a short track series, NASCAR Legend short track series. And I think Justin Marks even talked about it earlier in the year. So it'd be something cool, man. I mentioned that, I think, last year, the year before, talking about it and just, adding face value to it, and you can get some of those guys. I mean, hell, even if, Richard Petty, Dale Jarrett, whoever, Kyle Petty, whoever wanted to get back there and race, I think it'd be cool to do. So we'll see if anything comes to fruit on that, but there's some guys I would love to see go back at it, an Xfinity car or somewhere on a short track. So nothing crazy, maybe 50 laps, here and there, maybe a 100-lap race at a half mile or something like that, Martinsville or Bristol, but 50 laps and call it good, be an awesome deal, man. So getting into that playoff picture, y'all, we know the round of 16 is over. That was it there at Bristol, and I tell you what, I missed. I did not see Joey Logano getting knocked out early. Logano, 2 past champions, yeah, 2 Fords too at that. I don't know, is McDowell a Ford as well? Oh, 3 Fords. Man, 3 Fords, bye-bye. And I don't see the other couple that are in there, man. Getting too much further, but we'll get into that in a bit. But yeah, Harvick and Logano both missed it, and I hated it for Harvick worse than I hated it for Logano. Logano had it happen and it broke and kind of got caught up in somebody else's junk, and he said it, hey man, we shouldn't have been running back there, we did it to ourselves, and yada yada. Long story short, he manned up and took it well. It's a hard pill to swallow, and missed it. And Harvick just 5 laps down or 4 laps down. I hated to see that at Bristol, which is usually one of their better racetracks, and especially last year being really good there and coming back this year and hitting on it and just totally missing. I hated it, but hopefully Harvick gets a win here in the retirement season. I don't want to see him go out like some others. I think he definitely needs to get a win, so hopefully he'll get that win there and move on, at least retired life, and have that win there. But like I said, there's some guys going out. The 22, the 4, the 47, 34, all missed the round of 8, which it happens. It is what it is. It happens, but. Looking going into the round of 12, looking into the round of 12 and who will miss going into that round of 8, who will miss it. I've got my 4 guys pegged out right here, and it's going to be the 23 of Bubba Wallace, the 12 of Ryan Blaney, the 20 of Christopher Bell, and the 1 of Ross Chastain, all miss the playoffs right here. I just think that as a whole, when you look at it, there are a lot of better teams out there that are running good. I don't see William Byron or Kyle Larson missing out. I don't see Martin Truex or Denny Hamlin missing out. So there's 4. That's half of them there. And then when you go and look at the other guys that are in there, Tyler Reddick's in there. You got some guys. I think that they're running better and more consistent than some of these other guys. So we'll see what happens, but you heard it here first. Those are my 4 out: 23, 12, 20, and the 1. So getting into that checkered flag for charity, y'all, my favorite part of the show. What we do here on Rubbin' and Grubbin' is basically whatever car number wins that race, we donate into our sweater bucket and that checkered flag for charity. The 11-1, anything under the Christopher Bell, and the 20 is always, going to be a 20. So that's $20 more added in. That puts us over $3,200 for the year race here from Miss Jamie Searhouse Monroe. If you guys don't know, we chose it this year on Rubbin' and Grubbin' to do it. She lost her husband and her mother very close, within very close proximity to each other, readjusting to life expenses going from one income, or 2 incomes down to 1, everything that goes along with it. Look, man, this is a lovely lady, one of the nicest people you will ever meet in your life, and I can guarantee you if that shoe was on the other foot, she would be here doing everything she could for whoever it may be as well. So just an awesome, awesome person. We've been raising money all season long. Not too bad. We got some big things coming up. We'll talk about a little bit more down the road, but as we get into the month of October, we do have some things set up to do here at Coach's Corner. And big shout out to John and Adele Henderson as well for letting us do our things here with the Soundgarden concerts and different events that we have. So, look, like I say all the time, if you ever come into Coach's Corner and you're here drinking with the buds, you want to donate into a charitable cause, doesn't matter if it's Checker Flag for Charity or something else that John and Adele have set up here. Make sure you let somebody know, your waiter, your waitress, your bartender. If you see them walking, let them know you want to donate in Checker Flag for Charity or that charitable organization that they have running or thing that they got going, and they'll make sure it goes to the right place. And I tell everybody all the time, doesn't matter, nickels, pennies, dimes, 10, 20s, 150s, whatever it is you got to give it. You got a good feel good on your back, pat yourself on the back, and it all stays local right here in the community, man, and that's the best part about it. And again, none of that is possible without the patrons and everybody here at Coach's Corner, so big thank you to all you guys. I'll thank you every single episode every year because it's all what makes it go round, and it really speaks volumes on what type of community we do live in here in the Savannah area and have the family here at Coach's Corner. So big shout out and thanks, y'all. Getting into the next segment, who's hot and who's not. But before we do, got to give a big shout out to my main man, Mr. Parker Eccles over there, Arbor Man Tree Service. The best tree service in Savannah. I tell you what, you'll see that number scrolling all night long on the screen. Make sure you give Parker a call for all your tree service needs. Locally owned, locally operated, insured, doesn't matter what it is. If you need an estimate, getting some limbs cut back, full tree removal, stump grinding, whatever it may be, Parker and his team got you covered over there at Arbor Man. Again, you'll see that number scrolling all night long. As I like to say, no job too big, too small, give Parker a call. Love you, dude. So, like I said, man, getting into the who's hot, I'm going to move one person down and somebody up. Denny Hamlin takes over the number one. Denny the Weasel Hamlin, man, is the nickname he's going to be known as here in Rubbing and Grubbing. Yeah, not my cup of tea, but got to give it respect where respect's due. Two top five, actually, let's see, that'd be two top two finishes out of the three races there in the first round of 16. Second there when we saw him, which I really thought he was going to win that race, which would have done me right at Kansas. And then turn around and, like I said, here at Bristol, winning it. So I think they got it together. Denny, we know, can make deep playoff runs. The playoff schedule kind of fits his forte. Talladega, maybe not so much. Texas, really good there. Road course on the Roval, maybe not so much. So I look at him being strong here at Texas this week. We'll have to see where I put him on my list, my top five when we get there. But, look, I'm not going to take anything away from a guy, 50-plus winner. The career that he's had, there's a lot of guys you can go back and look and go, oh, he had a great career, never even smelled 50 wins. Dale Jr. is one of them. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, there's a lot of guys out there that didn't ever come close to 50 wins that we consider, some of the best of all time, which Denny probably is. Not my cup of tea. I'm glad he stands up for what he believes in and says what he does, but I think he's a little hypocritical. I think he's kind of like, woe with me, when it happens to him, it's the worst thing ever and somebody should be suspended, and oh my God, they got to sit him for a race because he right hooked me into a wall. But God forbid when he does it, it's just part of racing and all good. So that's as far as I'm going there. As number one on the hot list now going into Texas, he's got a good possibility of staying that way. He's won at Texas a few times. I think Denny Hamlin and them are on the hunt to prove a point. So we'll see what happens. But right now, number one on the hot list. Two for me? Come on, y'all. You should already know. Kyle Young Money Larson, baby. I mean, that 5 car. I mean, had a good run there at Bristol again. Keeping the momentum, going in the right direction. Really fast race cars in that round of 16. So things didn't quite work out their way. But at the end of the day, look, man, I see week in and week out, that's one of the best teams on the racetrack, if not, to me, the best. So it's going to go a long way to count on bringing consistency in, especially with your playoff points here. If you don't have a DNF or a bad run and you're where Kyle Larson is in the playoff standings, it's going to be hard to catch. But there again, Cliff Daniels and Kyle Larson, to me, are probably the next Jimmy Johnson, Chad Knaus, Jeff Gordon, Ray Evernham. I mean, we can go on and on. Those duos are generational. It's few and far between. When you got a guy that's got that much talent, finding a crew chief to stick with them that's going to hold on to it would be great. I mean, I know Jeff won with multiple crew chiefs. Jimmy won 7 with the same guy. I can guarantee you, had Dodge not come in and Ray Evernham had an opportunity to go start up a Dodge team, he probably would have stayed with Gordon, and Gordon would probably had 7, if not more than that. But anyways, at the end of the day, just too good to let go. So expect that Cliff Daniels, Kyle Larson duo to be on it for a long time. 2 of the best to do it, man. So I'm going to change it up right here and put somebody on here I haven't put on the hot list, and I feel like he deserves to be on the hot list, and that's Chris the Cowboy Buescher. And if I had put him on, I don't remember putting him on. But I tell you what, man, 4th there at Bristol. You know, really, I think caught everybody off guard there with the wins that he got this season and just how big of a leap RFK made this year. I think you had RFK jump forward and Legacy take a big step back, and I think it was interesting to watch that. But I tell you what, they got it going on, and those are 2 guys that I think will beat out a Gibbs car and other guys making that round of 8. I think that Brad Keselowski and Chris Buescher can definitely make a deep playoff run. When you look at it, the Roval might not be a true road course, but Chris Buescher run very well on road courses. Got it good consistent finish there. Brad Keselowski, a little different story. He's going to have to go out, have a good run at Texas, not get caught up, beat a couple of those guys if they have trouble. Turn around that following week at Talladega, which we know Brad Keselowski's probably got that one circled on this playoff map going, that's the one for me. And he could possibly very easily win there. We know how good he is at Talladega under Circuit Plate Racing, or Super Speedway Racing, excuse me. So I think those 2 guys could definitely make it. But right now, I think we got to give some credit where credit's due. 2 top 5 finishes out of the last 3 races in the round of 16. He looks poised to have at least 1 car into the round of 8 RFK. I'm going to say both of them. Love to see the resurgence of this team. I think that's well-deserved. I think that anybody that grew up watching NASCAR from and when Jack Roush got involved for me, it was 1990 on, especially through the mid-90s there with, you know, Matt Kenseth, Greg Biffle, Carl Edwards, all the other names that came in and out of Roush there throughout that time, and just the talent that you saw and take those steps back, and now we're seeing it rebuilt. Awesome to me. Very historic race team and very good ownership. So keep doing what you're doing over there at RFK because it's working. So that'll do it for the Who's Not, or Who's Hot. We're getting into the Who's Not. Lawrence isn't going to like this, not one bit. But number 1 on that not list is Ryan Blaney. And I hate it, man. Just an off year. 1 win at the Coca-Cola 600. Just hasn't had the speed to even be up front and contend for race wins, if you ask me. There hadn't been a time that he's had speed, got out front, pulled away, led 20, 25 laps, 30 laps. Pit road's been a blemish for him this year. It's been rough on him. It's just Ford's off. And when you got Penske that's off, that means Ford's really off. So RFK has found some speed. Maybe they can find some speed headed into this round there at Penske and kind of piggyback off of it. But like I said, Ryan Blaney right now, cold list. Hopefully he can get it going, you know, this round and find a way to make it into that round of 8. I don't have him going that far. I have him out in the round of 12. But we'll see. We'll see what he does, man. Harvick on the cold list. SHR all year long. I hate it for him. Another Ford. You're right, man. Another Ford. I hate it for him. You know, I'm really hoping that Happy gets a win in that retirement season. There's been too many really good ones that haven't gotten that win, and I think he deserves it. You know, I think that he's probably had one of the better farewell tours that we've seen over the past few years. You know, when you think about Jimmy Johnson, that was just something that I think should have been given up a few years prior. You know, and there's some other guys that had some that were just a little iffy as well. But, you know, at the end of the day, he's doing the best he can. And I hope they go out and get that win, man. But right now, on the cold list over there at SHR and Happy. Who else is on that cold list? Who else better than NASCAR themselves, man? And that's just because y'all hadn't released the damn schedule yet, man. I'm waiting on the schedule. This is like the biggest thing outside the playoffs to wait for is that next year's schedule. One, I've already renewed for Atlanta spring and fall or spring and summer race next year. That's no big deal. Atlanta man will be there in person. The big deal is I gotta know when I'm coming. And let's be honest, man. I'll tell you what, I would not be mad at Atlanta Motor Speedway and NASCAR if we moved that Atlanta race a little further back into April. I'd take that in April sometime. You could swap Dega out with Bristol spring race and move Dega and move Bristol up to, you know, that and move something else. We can stay out on the West Coast. Maybe move Texas into March. Maybe Patty's Day out in Texas, right? Like, that'd be on the way back from the West Coast swing anyway. That'd be great. Then move Atlanta a couple weeks back further. Either way, I wouldn't be mad at it. But whenever it's happening, I'm going to be there. So NASCAR, get on the ball. Let's get this schedule out. That's going to be a good show to talk about a lot of good news there. because I think they're going to move some things around and make some adjustments to that schedule for sure. So waiting on it. So getting into the next segment of the show, baby, that Bristol recap. I tell you what, I don't give a damn what kind of race we have at Bristol. It's always one of my favorite races, man. And that was a really good Cup Series race there. A lot of folks are going to go, reminding me of old Bristol, this and that, yada, yada. They go, you know, everybody wants just 2 lanes of cars riding side by side at Bristol and doing all this weird, crazy stuff. What we saw at Bristol is exactly what we need from Bristol on this next gen. That's exactly what we need, man. We need good racing, 2 multi-grooves. The high works, the bottom you can pass on if your car's set up for a while. You can race a guy side by side there for a numerous amount of laps. Everybody's going to complain about aero tight, not being able to use the bumper. We're aero tight everywhere we go. That's just the name of the game now, so get used to it. When you pull up on a guy, you're going to be a little aero tight. It is what it is, man. So at the end of the day, really good race there for me. I'll take it. I liked it. Again, Denny Hamlin took home those checkers there. You know, locking himself into that round of 12. Just a good run for the 11 team for sure. Like I said, Bristol is not a bad racetrack for Denny Hamlin. If you watched the race last year, he probably had the car to beat and just messed it up. So at the end of the day, good little win there for him. Won me a little bragging rights up here at Coaches for the week. I'll take it, baby.
Hey, he beat my favorite driver.
He did.
He beat everybody's favorite
Yeah,
driver.
he beat everybody's favorite driver, evidently, according to him, which was just so funny, right? Yeah, just so great. Yeah. I mean, I'm glad you pat yourself on the freaking back for that one, man. That was comical genius right there. Anyways, enough with that stuff. Ty Gibbs, man. I tell you what, Ty Gibbs had a really good run at Bristol. Oh, man, he had a damn good run at Bristol. I mean, they got out there, man, doing his thing, looked strong. Man, I tell you what, to come home with a 5th place finish, you can't be mad at that at all. But really looked strong there through the early and middle parts of that race. I tell you what, this kid got some talent, whether you like him or not, and he is definitely not my cup of tea. I will tell you that right now. But at the end of the day, you can't deny the talent, and he's in good equipment. So there's definitely going to be some race wins coming for Ty Gibbs here. If not one this season, I would think by next year somewhere he's going to get a win or two. So good little run there for the 54 and Ty Gibbs over there in the Joe Gibbs Racing camp for sure. Young Money, baby, and Christopher Bell, I tell you what, showed up. Both of them showed up at Bristol, and that just shows you how that dirt background experience in short track racing comes into play. Man, those guys, I tell you what, they, one, just move through traffic a lot better than a lot of guys, and a lot of that's something you can't handle. But, man, they get through traffic very well, and I think that is just being on a half-mile dirt track and having to go around guys on it or whatever it may be. So both of them looked really poised to even contend for that win. They were right there. They looked good and finished good. You know, they came home 2nd and 3rd, respectively. So, you know, they just couldn't catch up to Denny. And I think they needed a late caution, which I wasn't praying for because I needed some bragging rights. I needed another win on the season up here at Coaches. But at the end of the day, you know, they just couldn't catch them. And it happens like that sometimes. But it was a really good race, really good run there for sure. The Busher, Chris the Cowboy Busher as well, man. I tell you what, had another really good run there. Top 4 finish. I think he finished 4th. You know, all said and done, that's what they need to do to have a deep playoff run. They need to beat some of these guys that have off nights when they have off nights. And when they're having an off night, they need to maximize their point capability and have a good run. And they've been good at doing that. So I really am looking excited and forward to seeing what the 17-car and RFK can do here through this round of the playoffs. There again, I think Texas moving in, Busher's got a good run there, and the Roval. There again, I think that Talladega is probably the best bet for the 6 to gain on the field. He needs some people to have some trouble, which is very possible, and him not, and maybe even win that race, and then he doesn't have to worry about it. So, but right now, Chris Busher, man, another good run there at Bristol last Saturday night. All in all, like I said, a really good run there at Bristol. The thing that I love about it most is when we come back here next year, both of those races are going to be on concrete. I love it. I'm really hoping. I actually wrote a scheduled show earlier in the year, and I didn't have a chance to drop it. It just didn't work out about moving dates and what they should do. And I really said you should take that Bristol date and move it further back into the month of April or even into May sometime. I think the weather would be great. I think you'd have a little better attendance. The racing might even possibly be better as well. You know, the Saturday night race, even if you did a Sunday night race there, Saturday, I know 2 Saturday night races, whatever it may be, doesn't really matter. The nostalgia of the Bristol Saturday night race in the summer has kind of lost its forte of what we do. I think that it being in the playoffs helps that race, and it not being, if it was moved out of the playoffs, you would have something very similar to what you have in the spring at Bristol. But I definitely think we need to move that date back. But love the fact we're going back to concrete. 2 races on concrete. I love it. There's no more gimmicks. There's no more none of that. It's just back to Bristol and doing what we do, which only I think is going to help teams be better when we come back there in the playoff race. So it's a win-win. All right, man. So getting into Texas, and this is another track that's caught in a lot of heat over the last couple of years about just not good racing and all the things that go along with the NASCAR fans that complain about that everywhere we go. There again, everything is bigger in Texas, man. We're going to see who can come home with that paycheck and that trophy and those 6 shooters, baby, and that cowboy hat. Fast racetrack, man. It happens fast around Texas. It gets pretty violent there too, man. You got to make some changes there, swing the car a couple different ways. We'll see what tire compound they run, which that'll be interesting. Hopefully we get some wear there. A little slick, a little sliding around, but hey, man, we'll see what happens. They need another strong one because I tell you what, it's going to get moved out of the playoffs here. I would think probably at the end of this season. Next year, I don't think that racetrack, Texas, will be a playoff track. It might, maybe one more year, but I don't think so. I think they're going to move it out and move something else in. So we'll see what happens. But make sure you tune in this Sunday, baby, and see who can bring home those old 6 shooters from Texas, man. So getting into it, my top 5, and this is another tough one, man. It's another tough one. Number 1 for me, Young Money, baby. Young Money Kyle Larson at Texas. I got to take him first. You know, going to have a good run. We're going to see what he does. I expect him to be fast. Got to do his thing. Got to go out and get another trophy, lock himself into that round 8 off the rip, and then go out there and play and just trophy hunt, man. That'd be the best thing. But we'll see what he does. Like I said, I expect him to have a really good, strong run there. He's been good at 1.5 miles earlier in the year, later in the year. It really doesn't matter. All good all season long, so I'll take Kyle Larson, number 1, baby. 2 for me, Denny Hamlin. Denny Hamlin, again, like I said, the weasel himself. He's going to weasel his way into having a good run at Texas again. He's won there a couple times. I don't know how many. I know once, twice, though. Gonna be good. He's going to be good. They're going to bring the thunder. I'm telling you now that he's got that win, I feel like he's going to have strong playoff runs all the way to the championship race. So Hamlin will be 2. 3 for me, I think, is a guy that we have yet to really see get on super strong in the playoffs, and that's William Byron. I think his time's coming. I think he was right there, top 7 at Bristol, top 10 there at Bristol, I know. Somewhere right around in there, I think. I might be misspoken on that. Maybe I was looking at another race. At the end of the day, 24 car, I feel like has got a good knack for speed. William and Rudy Fugle would definitely get some things going in the right direction. I think this is a good racetrack for him to do it. So be on the lookout for number 24, 3rd on my list. 4 on my list would be Martin Truex Jr., man. Racing with a heavy heart this weekend, I'm sure. Got some stuff to go out and get done. I mean, what a cool race it would be to go out and say, hey, this one's for you, which I'm sure he would. We all know the news broke up earlier in the year. That doesn't matter. I mean, when you spend life odds and ends and doing the things and going through the things that they went through in a relationship and as people, come on, man. I would love for that man to go out and win this race here and dedicate that race to her. I think that'd be huge. So 5 for me is a guy that's been really quiet, but I think he's about to wake up. We're getting ready to wake up a monster. And that's 3 Chai Kyle Busch, baby. 3 Chai's coming back on Texas. I think old Kyle Busch got a real good knack for Texas. And that is one that you better have in your fantasy lineup or taken with an outright win because we're getting ready to talk about it. But there's pretty good, decent odds that a guy that's won Texas quite a few times, man. So I'll take Kyle Busch 5th. Dark horses. It's really hard to talk about dark horses in the playoffs, man. But I got both RFK drivers down there. I just talked about how, you know, decent they need to run and how good they can run. It's really not too dark. I think the 3 Austin Dillon is somebody you better watch out for, which we're rooting for. We'll definitely be having him locked in here in this next segment. But the 3 Austin Dillon's the guy you got to watch out for. RCR ran good there last season, ran good there the year before. I think that Kyle Busch, with his feel of Texas and being able to get on there and kind of get a good setup for the team and a base, I think Austin Dillon will run good too. So he's probably my darkest one. Outside of that, Carson Hocevar, baby. I didn't even give Carson Hocevar a shout out, but I gotta give him a shout out, dude. That man is running the wheels off of a Cup car for not being in it, and it's legacy at that. I'm gonna tell you now. I'm telling you right now. If nobody gets Carson Hocevar in a Cup Series seat before next season, he will be at Junior Motorsports, and he will end up in a Hendrick ride here in the next 2 to 3 years. Mark my words. Too good not to, baby. So I'll put him 42 car on that on the dark horse to watch out for too, man. So before we get into the next segment, man, the money line, we got to give a big shout out here. Money line presented by Redfin Polarized Sunglasses. a little cloudy tonight. I don't have them on tonight. So the best polarized sunglasses on the planet. It doesn't matter whether you got money on the line or a wall hanger. Make sure you see it clearly with a set of red fins, Italian frames, Carl Zeiss polarized lenses, man. The best sunglasses on the planet. These things are made for the woods or the water. These are the Hatteras, man. You need to go check out the website, redfinpolarized.com. A lot of different styles, man. A lot of different polarized lenses to fit all those needs, whether you're on the lake or offshore, inshore, whatever it may be. Redfin has you covered, man. Like I say, make sure you check that website out. You can use code Rubbin and Grubbin, save 15% at checkout. That would be greatly appreciated. Love you guys for that. And as I always say, man, whether it's onshore, on the lake, or in the woods, man, don't get caught without your red fins, baby. Live life fins up. So getting into that money line, and man, I tell you what, co-favorites this week. I love it when they co-favored us, and that happens a lot in the playoffs. And it's Kyle Larson and Denny Hamlin. So one, if not two of those guys are going to be a lock for me and Lawrence. I can tell you that. The odds aren't great. I think they got them locked in at plus 450 opening. If one of them qualifies on the pole, you might as well chalk that up, probably going down 2-1, plus 200. You know, we might just have to do what we got to do, bet a little bit more or something, you know. But those guys are good bets there. I mean, you can't, you know, depending on what you're betting, you can't take at least one of them, if not both of them. So definitely be looking at those guys. Followed up, man, the 24, the 45, the 8. All those guys got some pretty good odds there too, plus 650 to 750 to 800. That's pretty good. And like I said, you go a little deeper in the field, we're going to be locking in somebody in that bracket. A little deeper in the field, 6, 17, 22, and 54 have some huge odds. I think they got Joey Logano at like 2,800 or something crazy again. The 6 and 17, I think Brad's up there. I think Busher's up there a little bit too, but still really good odds. Yeah, the odds on Joey Logano is like 16th best or something crazy like that on the odds ranking. That's just for a champion. I just don't get it. I mean, you can put it there. I'll take it all day long. Whatever you want to give, I'll take it. So we'll be looking on some of those guys maybe for a win or a top 3 placement. Deeper on, like I said, the 3 of Austin Dillon will definitely be a lock-in for the 3. I think he's at plus 15,000 or 150,000 or something like that for the win. So the 3 odds got to be good. There again, Carson Hocevar, a couple other guys out there to be on the hunt. But like I said, make sure you follow our Twitter, man. Lawrence does a great job of posting that stuff on there every single Friday, Saturday, and Sunday if there's Trucks Xfinity and Cup, whatever we decide to bet on for that weekend. Make sure you tune in, man. Check it out. Comment on it. Let me see what you guys are betting on and what we're betting on. Hey, man, look. We hit last weekend with Hamlin to win at plus 375. We lost a little bit overall on the total bet, but we still did walk away with that win, man. But we're up to 13,275 units in the good this year. And we did have Little Gator as well. So we hit the winners both week. But I will say this. I think Little Gator only pocketed us like 6 units. Yeah, so we won like $6.25 or something. But hey, man, $6.25 better than a big fat zero, baby. I'll take it. So, no, it's pretty good there. But, no, like I said, man, we're doing good on the year. If you followed along and bet what we bet, you're doing pretty good on the season. So we still got some races left. And like I said, Texas is one. But next week at Talladega, that's going to be a money maker. That's going to be one where somebody, I got a feeling, somebody big is going to hit. A deep odds guy is going to win that one. So, getting into the next segment, the hard right turn. But before I do, big shout out to Lamar's Body Shop, the sponsor of the hard right turn. 35 plus year of taking care of Savannah area's auto collision needs. Doesn't matter what it is. Need some dents pulled out, need a new paint job, need an estimate for that insurance company. Make sure you go see Lamar and his team right up there at Lamar's Body Shop, 2301 Skidaway Road. Hop, skip, and a jump away from Coaches. You can drop the car off for an estimate, Uber down here, catch a little lunch, man, go back, pick the car up. It's a win-win. Like I said, nobody beats Lamar and his team, man. They know exactly how to handle your business. They're not going to shortcut you. They're going to give you the real deal, man. Again, that's 2301 Skidaway Road, Lamar's Body Shop. As I always like to say, don't settle for par. Go see Lamar, baby. So, getting into the hard right turn, man, and really what it is how, I don't know really a good way to word this in a way, but how are we going to move forward as a fan base when we can't even move forward and agree on week in and week out things, man? Like, this has bugged me all year. Like, I think NASCAR fans complain more than anybody I've seen outside of maybe SEC college football fans. Like, we do that a lot as well, right? Like, I'm not that guy. I don't complain a lot. I'll go, man, they look like garbage, or this and that, or this guy's not my favorite, or why did we do that? But, man, I see some crazy comments out there, y'all, about college football. But NASCAR is even worse. It's like, we do something, and it turns out to be exactly what we asked for the week before, and then when it happens that week, it's not good. So I'm one of the fans that I'm down with it. I will give you my honest opinion about how I feel about what NASCAR is doing, but at the end of the day, I'll back it. Do we need to do this different? Yeah, hey, this is what we could do different. But I'm not going to go on there and bash and go, this is a boring race and this and that, and oh, the ratings are down in football and yada, yada, yada. Man, look, NASCAR, since the time it started, has kept up with football, Saturday and Sundays, college and NFL football. I mean, since the 80s, since 70s. Whenever they started broadcasting football on TV and NASCAR was on TV, it was the same game. It's not like the Super Bowl happened in February or, happened in, July. I mean, it's all the same stuff. So for fans that believe ratings are down because of that, is what it is. At the end of the day, ratings are down because of fans that complain and fans that don't support their sport, that don't go out to the racetrack, that don't tune in, that don't bring their kids and get their kids involved, or their friends or their uncles or their cousins, or, dads that don't, kind of portray that to their kids and get their kids going, man. Look, my kids have been to the race a couple times. They watch it with me here and there. They'll sit down. Are they fans of it? No, not yet, but I can guarantee you by the time they get in their 20s, they'll want to go to a race with old dad and Uncle Lawrence. I promise you that. I can guarantee you that. So, at the end of the day, I think it's just something we got to work on as fans to give our opinion, but do it in a respectful way. And then at some point in time, we just got to learn to be quiet. Like some of the comments I see out here, oh, I hate stage racing on road courses, this, that, we take them away. Oh, this is horrible. We need stage caution. So now we're bringing it back. Come on, man. Like, it's one or the other. All you saw was the 1990s to 2000 plus, all the way up until stage breaks got implemented. All you saw was an old road course race. That's how they went down. What do you guys think? It was just like, oh, these stages have always been? Nah, dude. That's how it went down. Without a natural caution, that was it, brother. Green flag to checkered flag. It'd run. That's a wrap. And I heard even Joey Logano goes, well, strategies were taken away. And this said, no, it wasn't. None of y'all just wanted to get off sequence and do something different. None of y'all wanted to come in and pit 10 laps earlier, or pit one extra time, or, break the stages in half, or do something crazy. Nobody wanted to go outside the box and try it out because of the stage points, because of the points. That's the only thing that's different, man. So bringing them back for the Roval, that's cool to me, whatever, but we'll check that one off the box. Us as fans, we need to quit bitching about that too. Doesn't matter what NASCAR does. Whatever y'all want to do, I'm down for it. Now, we want to bitch. Let's bitch about the street courses, bitch about the dirt tracks, let's bitch about, all the road course races we have on the schedule. I'm down with that. We can complain about that all day long, all night. I'll sit right here and do it with you. But the form of racing and the format of racing that we're seeing now need to stop. What they need to do and, go here and go there. NASCAR is not interested in going to, Iowa, and NASCAR is not interested in going to some of these smaller tracks, man. I tell you what, get your government up, get together, build a NASCAR track. I tell you that. Go find somebody, an investor, a few of them that's got about $300, $400, $500 million. They go, hey, we want a NASCAR race here. We're going to build a NASCAR track and get them here. Go ahead, see how that works out, man. Because I'm telling you, it's a lot more difficult than it is. And then once you got it there, to sustain it. Kentucky, come on, who don't like NASCAR in Kentucky? We're not racing that one no more. Will it make a comeback? Maybe. We'll have to wait and see, man. But anyways, that's enough of us. I'm fans. I'm ranting and raving. But look, man, I'm all down with somebody giving an opinion. But at the end of the day, we don't sign the checks. We don't make the rules. We don't own NASCAR. All we can do is give our opinion. At the end of the day, they're going to do what they want to do. They're going to do what they think's best for the sport. And we're either going to like it or not. The best part about anything that's on TV or you watch or you want to go to, you can go or not go, or you can turn the channel, man. That simple. So that's going to do it for the rubbing. We are on to the grubbing, baby, and let's see what we got going on up in here. So, oh yeah, man, I got me a little special, man. This is a lunch special. Got me a little meatloaf action going down, baby. Good size of rice and hoppin' johns. Boy, the roll, come on, dinner roll. Yeah, coaches, if you hadn't heard, man, they do lunch specials Monday through Friday. Awesome, awesome deals. You can definitely come up. They change it up every couple days. Just an awesome, awesome meal here, man. Can't wait to get into this in just a bit, y'all. Do not forget to check out Coach Demasi, Coach Carl Demasi Prep Sports Report, live right here in the Sound Garden every single Saturday, starting around 9:30ish, man, until Coach runs out. Keeping you up to date on everything big sports-wise, local sports, college sports, He's doing it big. Coach, I got to text you, man. I got to get up here on the game. Maybe Georgia, Florida weekend. Sometime in there, I got to pop on the show, man, and give me a little college football predictions. You know, I like to give my picks as well every once in a while. So, Coach, I'm gonna hit you up, man. We got to get together on that. But also, you can go out and subscribe to that show. Coach has a YouTube channel. You can follow Coach Carl DeMasi Sports Prep Sports Report out there as well on YouTube. So like, share, follow that, man. Get your buddies in. If you're a student or a former student athlete of Coach Carl DeMasi, spread the love, baby. You know what Coach means to the community. Love you, dude. Also, Tuesdays, Who's on First Base podcast, busting out everything MLB with Coach Carl DeMasi and Kyle Lawson, the baseball guru, keeping you up to date. And we're getting down to the nitty gritty, man. We got, what, 12 games regular season? 12 games? Braves do 12 games regular season. Getting right there down to it. It's going to be interesting to see who can lock themselves in. We know we're good. But I tell you what, there's still some players out there or teams out there on the hunt, man. So make sure there, again, you're keeping up with that. You can stream that podcast anywhere you stream your podcast. Tuesday, coming out with that new episode, Who's on First Base? Coach Carl DeMasi, baseball guru, Kyle Lawson, baby. So that's going to wrap it up for us on Rubbin' and Grubbin' tonight, man. I hope everybody had an amazing time on the show. Thank you guys for tuning in. Man, we got a great week ahead of us, great weekend here at Coach's. Big things coming up, so make sure you're tuning in to Rubbin' and Grubbin' every week to follow us on what we got going on, what concerts, what events, who's coming, who's playing, what's going on the TP. Man, just make sure you're following us and Coach's Corner to keep up with everything that's up to date on that, man. I tell you what, I really want to give a big shout out there to just everybody that's involved here at Coach's. That's what I'm going to use my little, busting down thing, feel good for. I tell you what, we've all gone through a lot here in the past few years. We're all here to support each other. And I tell you what, the best thing about all that is you can't find camaraderie like this in a lot of towns in America. But I can tell you what, in Thunderbolt, Georgia, at Coach's Corner, you can find that. You can find new brothers. You can find new sisters. You can find family that you can lean on in hard times and call on the good ones as well, man. And honestly, it really makes me feel good to be a part of it and welcomed into it the way I was, and everybody that's involved in it from the top down. I tell you what, man, it's just a really good feel to be part of this Coach's Corner family. So that's going to be it for me on the soft-spoken stuff there. Love everybody, JB, LB, John, Adele, everybody here staff-wise, everybody. The man, Zach Case. I tell you what, man, right here, Jeffrey Earnhardt. Man, I didn't even say about Jeffrey had a good run going too. We were pulling hard for him. Still had a really good finish to that race. Maybe not the one he deserved, but a good race. So we'll be pulling for Jeffrey Earnhardt. But Zach Case and them boys up there and everything they do for us here, coming on the show, anybody and everybody that comes up, Kenny Schrader, everybody that does what they do for us, man. I really appreciate it. Love it all. Thank you guys. Stay safe. Give your mama, your daddy, all your loved ones a big hug and kiss out there. And as always, till next time, y'all stay safe. Bam. Wash your hands, y'all. All right.